Ladies, you are becoming unrecognizable, and that makes some people very uncomfortable. Some people develop jealousy and envy toward above average women. When you are a woman who is working on her self development, when you no longer look average, when you no longer move average, when you no longer do those things that are in alignment with being mediocre, your unrecognizability, if that's a word, makes people very uncomfortable. When you begin to go against the status quo, when you stop doing what everybody else is doing in order to elevate yourself, in order to make things better for you, you have to expect that you are going to get people who are going to be jealous and envious and try to sabotage your success in some way. When you become unrecognizable, that's when people try to place doubt in your mind and try to get you to second guess yourself. See, when you move at a level that makes other people uncomfortable, they begin to prick you with little pinpricks of doubt so that you can second guess and stop what you're doing. When you begin to elevate to the point that people no longer recognize who you are, they say things like, oh, you forgot where you came from. Oh, you're not really like that. You're faking. Because ladies, this is one thing you have to get used to. When you begin to actually operate as the woman that you were meant to operate as, a lot of people are going to believe that you're acting fake. They may even be as bold to call you fake, simply because you are now living in a way and carrying yourself in a way that is unrecognizable to them, and it makes them uncomfortable. See, some people are very comfortable with you as long as they are able to put you into a box. See, they're never jealous and envious of a woman who decides to go along and be whoever other people want her to be. But the moment you start being the type of woman that you know you were created to be, you start living and acting and going to places and doing things that are in alignment with the lifestyle and the person that you truly are, you will develop haters. You will have people who will be jealous, who will be envious, and who will try to sabotage your success every step of the way. It comes with the territory. And the only way to avoid haters, the only way to avoid jealous people is to not do anything, to remain average, to remain mediocre, to remain in a state that makes other people comfortable, but makes you uncomfortable and unfulfilled in your life. And as confident, feminine, leveled up ladies, we are not going to do that. We're not going to allow other people's uncomfortableness to stop us from doing what we know to do as women. See, a lot of women deliberately hold themselves back simply because they are not comfortable with other people being uncomfortable with them. See, when you are a people pleaser, and it kind of comes down to people pleasing, when you are so much of a people pleaser that you will hold back your own progress in order to not have any issues, to not have any conflict, you don't want people to treat you funny. You don't want people to act weird toward you. So you don't say too much. You don't do too much. You're not trying to do too much because you don't want people to look at you as if you're conceited or cocky or arrogant or prideful. When you have that kind of mindset, you hold yourself back all because you care too much about what other people think. See, no matter what you do, and this is one thing I learned just as a grown woman throughout my 20s, throughout my 30s, no matter what you do, be it positive or negative, people will always have something to say. They will always be triggered by something. People who are intent on misunderstanding you regardless, they will always have an issue with everything you do. So holding back your success, trying to hold yourself back or dumb yourself down so that people are more comfortable with you and not jealous and envious, that is not something that you should do as a woman. That is not something you should do as a person, man or woman, because people are not going to be satisfied either way. If somebody doesn't like you, they just don't like you. If people are haters, if they're jealous, they're envious, it doesn't matter what you do. That's a part of their character flaws. That's them. It is not your job to dumb yourself down and hold yourself back because you're afraid of attracting haters. It comes with the territory. And people who are jealous and envious of you and feel uncomfortable with the new version of you, they will always look for a reason to be offended by you. They will always look for a reason to say that something you did, something you said, the way you act, something about you is always triggering them. And it's simply because this version of you makes them feel uncomfortable. The confident version of you, the version of you is not settling for less. The version of you that is done just taking crumbs from other people's table. The version of you that is done being the help, meaning that you are done being the one that everybody has to step in to help. You actually want to be able to take charge of your own life. You understand that being a sidekick to another woman, that is not a role that you should aspire to be in. You are worthy of being in a circle of women who treat you as the queen you are, and you reciprocate that. But when you are around people who are trying to get you to constantly think of yourself as so small and that you're nothing, and I'm not talking about humility, because as women, as people, humility is something that we're supposed to have. As a believer, I know humility is a wonderful character trait. But there are some people who like to take humility out of context, all because they are uncomfortable, again, with your confidence level. When people are uncomfortable with your confidence level, they will try to say that you are cocky, that you are prideful, that you are arrogant, that you think you're better than people, you're acting fake. That's not really you. Since when do you do those kind of things? Like, I actually had someone say that to me when I was just starting out on YouTube, when I was starting out with my business. I actually had people say to me, oh, so what are you, Oprah now? What are you this now? Like the little slick comments that are trying to get me to think that somehow I'm out of line trying to do better. I'm out of line speaking up more. And you have to expect those kind of things anytime you're trying to do better. And I believe that you're never really ever going to be extremely criticized and scrutinized by people who are doing better than you. It's only people who are not doing as well as you, not because they can't, but because they choose not to. They like to sit on the sideline and critique everybody else instead of focusing on their own lives. And when you deal with people like that, you have to be ready to deal with that pushback that comes with you stepping outside the box. And it just comes with the territory. You know, haters, jealous people, toxic people, people who are miserable with their own lives. You know, undoubtedly, we all go through seasons of not feeling great about life, of not feeling good about ourselves sometimes, you know, depending on different situations. You may have moments, we're all human, but it becomes toxic when other people are so miserable in their own lives that they're only comfortable with you as long as you stay stuck, as long as you stay in a box, as long as you don't try to do anything else. And as women who are always working on our self-development, our personal development, our spirituality, working on our finances, our aesthetic, our look, trying to look our best and feel our best, we don't have time to deal with people who want to hold us back in some way, people who will not let you grow. That's the worst thing to be around, the worst type of people to be around. People who are so jealous, so envious, so miserable that they don't want to let you grow. They rather you stay stuck and stagnant. They don't care if you're a 40, 50-year-old woman and still have the same mindset that you had when you were a teenager, because as long as you don't have any growth, you're no threat to them. There are some people who are very miserable that way. They don't want you to grow. And sometimes you see this with men and women alike, especially in relationships. If you are dating a man who is threatened by your growth, if he's threatened every time you do something different, you start a new job, you start a new business, you pursue your degree, that is not somebody you want to be with who's threatened by any sign of growth in your life. And there are some haters, people, men and women alike, especially in some of these friends groups with women. They have women, they curate a circle of, and I know this is going to sound weird to some people, but some women are only comfortable curating a circle of friends that are mediocre, meaning they make sure that they surround themselves with women who will never pose a threat to them, women that will always make them feel comfortable not doing the things that they know they should be doing, not doing the things that they know they could be doing simply because of laziness. People sometimes surround themselves with people with the crabs in a barrel mentality because it makes them feel comfortable in their own stagnation. So if they don't have anybody challenging them or doing things in front of them that will motivate them to do better, that makes them feel good. But if you come around with all of your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, the things that you want to do, the things that you're accomplishing, and this doesn't have to be anything, outlandish. You could simply be working on your health and wellness, which is very important, but it doesn't take a lot of money. It's not extravagant. You could change up how you eat and how you dress. You could start wearing more dresses instead of pants, and the dresses could be $15 to $20, but you're making improvements. To people who do not want to make improvements in their life and they're threatened by other people who do, they will see your level up to getting $20 dresses and eating salads as somehow a threat to them. And women who are jealous and envious of other women, jealous and envious of other people's elevation and success and their motivation and their tenacity, they actually just can't handle being around people who are trying to do something else. They have that, like, just chill. Why are you always trying to do so much? Like, just relax. Why you got to do all that? It doesn't take all that. People who tend to say things like it doesn't take all that, it's because they don't try to do anything. They are very complacent in mediocrity. And it's okay if that's somebody's personality, if that's just how they are. It becomes an issue when they try to get other people to dumb themselves down so that they can feel comfortable. So when you become unrecognizable, you have to expect that you are going to make some people uncomfortable. And you might lose friends, you might lose relationships, people might grow distant, you might drift apart in different friendships and different relationships. And it's not because you did anything wrong, it's simply because you changed. Some people cannot handle when other people change, especially if they're used to you being one certain way. If they're used to you being very immature in your thinking as a woman, where you just kind of flow along with whatever pop culture is telling you to do, you're all wrapped up in reality TV, you're all wrapped up in gossip and, other people's business, things that are not productive, they will absolutely love you. But the moment you mature as a woman, your mindset changes and you start focusing on more meaningful things, such as your health, your wellness, your family, keeping yourself together spiritually, focusing on your finances and making money and being creative and doing the things that are going to bring you success, things that are going to keep you afloat. Some people cannot handle that. They act like being a grown woman, and I see this with some women, some friendships. They look at some women getting better jobs. You might have went from, and I'm not knocking these jobs, I'm using this as an example. Some women look at you working at, the dollar store as like, I can handle that. But the moment you switch over and now you work at the bank, now you work at a hospital, you're a CEO, you're an executive. Now it's like, oh, you done changed, you got that money. It's like people who are jealous, they always throw out things that have nothing to do with the relationship. They'll say, oh, you got that money now, so you're acting different. Oh, you got that position now, you're acting different. You could have been having a disagreement about a vacation or something somewhere you want to go, and they'll throw up something about your job or your status or your money, your finances. Those kind of things are little like slick, sly ways that people show their jealousy and envy towards you or their resentment towards your success. Again, when you become unrecognizable, some people will not be able to handle it. And that's not when you look at yourself and say, well, maybe, I don't need to have this job. And then what'll happen if you as a woman are not strong-minded enough, confident enough, for me, spiritually grounded enough, you will let what other people say to you about your life, about the things you're accomplishing, about the way you're living and the things that you're doing, you will allow their opinions to seep into your decision making, and you'll just stop everything. You'll stop trying to do better. Look, you might even get to the point where it's like, I don't need to put on a dress today. I'm only going to the store. And you'll start putting those raggedy clothes on again simply because you're afraid that Mika or me mom and them or whoever is going to say something because they see you that way. That's when you need to get away from those people. When they start, having an impact, a strong impact on your decision making, and it causes you to dumb yourself down and scale yourself back and doubt yourself. And, for me, doubt God, because if you're faith driven, spirit led woman, you get your guidance from God. When you're around people who get you to doubt what God is telling you to do and what you know is right for your life, that's when you need to remove yourself from those people, because they are nothing more than vessels to sabotage your success and your growth as a woman. And those people can be very dangerous. People who can only relate to you as long as you're not doing much, those are not your friends. And those are not even your family. They might be your relatives, they might be blood, but they're not really family. Because people who love and care about you, they want to see you do well. They want to see you thriving. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about mentally, spiritually, and every other way. People who genuinely care about you, they're not going to feel some kind of way, as they say, about you looking better, doing better, and trying to be better. You have some women, and I've seen this situation where they actually get jealous of women who develop a better relationship with their children. Like if you had a strained relationship with your children, with your kids, with your family, and all of a sudden you rectify that, and now you're trying to be the best mom you can, your children want to be around you. You have some women, I've seen this situation, and it's so sad and so pathetic and so ridiculous, but I've seen this situation where some women actually get jealous of the fact that people were able to repair broken relationships. It's like they were dependent on you always talking bad about your kids, talking bad about your husband, talking bad about your cousin, your mom, your auntie. When you develop and repair broken relationships, you have some people in your life who are only comfortable when you have issues with other family members. But the moment those relationships, for me, by the grace of God, are repaired, they can't handle it. It's like, no, you were supposed to hate her forever because I hate her. I don't like her. How dare you forgive her? How dare you make this relationship right? How dare you forgive your husband, forgive him? How dare you? We always used to sit up all night and talk about him. Now what we going to talk about? We can't gossip about them no more because you went and forgave them. You went and talking about, grace and all this stuff. How you going to do that? Now who we going to gossip about? You have some people who truly enjoy your life being a train wreck so that they can always have something to talk about. See, when you start growing and realizing, I don't want any unnecessary conflict. If I can have good relationships with people, I'm going to do that. I'm not deliberately trying to burn bridges. Like if the bridges are burned, so be it. But I'm not trying to burn bridges. If you're the kind of woman that's mature in her thinking and you're like, I understand that having good relationships are a good thing. So if I can work things out with somebody, I will. There will be somebody, supposedly a friend, who's telling you, no, girl, don't go to her and talk to her about that. Let her come to you. She was wrong. And they'll try to keep you on that rah-rah agent of chaos mode so that you never fix anything and that you always have, get it, drama in your life. There are some people who are comfortable with the drama you have in your life, but uncomfortable with the peace that you have in your life. And when you become unrecognizable, most women who level up, who get confident, who start doing better in life, they stay away from conflict. Meaning, if we can fix relationships and make things better, we do. Or we just avoid those relationships and act like they don't exist. We don't continue to talk about it. We don't continue to gossip to anybody who will listen. And when you stop doing that, some of your so-called friends and family may trickle away. We also get laser focused on our finances. Women who are leveling up and confident, we don't sit around broke. So we don't have time to sit around sipping tea and gossiping about other people because we are working on our businesses, working on what you call side hustles, being creative, and doing things that are going to bring in income, which will also make you unrecognizable And jealous women, irritated people, miserable people, they're not going to like you because of it. We also start focusing on our fitness and our health. You don't have to be a supermodel, you don't have to be super slim, but if you are focusing on working out and being healthy, you don't have time to sit around with people eating cake and sipping tea, talking about other people's business. That's just not something we do. And that might be an unrecognizable trait for you. And when that happens and it comes again with maturity, you're going to have some jealous, toxic women, people in general, who are not going to like that. It's like the mindset shift. When you have that mindset shift that says, I'm done doing mediocre things, I'm done doing classless things, I'm done interacting and partaking in, classless behaviors, expect that your being unrecognizable is going to make people jealous, envious, and just all out irritated with you. And they might try to sabotage, make your life miserable, or they just don't want to be around you. And that's okay. The more you level up, and I've experienced this in my own life, the more you gain confidence, the more you gain spiritual wisdom from God, the more you get focused on the things that are important, the wrong people will drift away, and that's a good thing. All right? So when you become unrecognizable, that's going to make some people uncomfortable, but don't you change, stay focused, and don't let them get you off your square. All right? Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, put the high heel emoji in the comments section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.